Hello, welcome and salutations for what will probably be an unseen edition of the FM21 A-League Rundown, considering the social media shutdown in protest about online abuse this weekend. Each week here on Rundown, I look back over all the results, events and news in the Mariners' massive universe. We begin, as always, in the city of churches, and Adelaide United didn't have a game this week, but there was lots of talk around Ben Halloran potentially getting recalled to the Socceroos squad under Graham Arnold. No stranger to the international setup, with 6 caps already to his name, Halloran has played well this season for the Reds. In 22 appearances, he's got 4 goals and 7 assists, with an average rating of 7.1. Oddly, this is another instance of art imitating life, as in a game against Western United, Adam Peacock raised the thought of Halloran getting back into the real-life Socceroos squad. So certainly on the same page there, Football Manager and the A-League. Brisbane Roar crashed to a 1-0 defeat to Western Sydney Wanderers at Bankwest Stadium. They are currently in 5th in the A-League. So in need of some points, I would say, under referee Stuart Muldoon this game, who I think is a new name for me. Don't remember seeing him referee very many before. Jordan Courtney Perkins came in 3rd in the A-League Young Player of the Month standings for April. So he is a central defender, average rating during that time of 6.88 with 1 goal and 2 clean sheets. Corey Brown has picked up an injury. He has a twisted ankle suffered in training and could be replaced by the likes of Macaulay Gillespie, Isaac Powell, who I think is a really good young player, and Jordan Courtney Perkins himself, only just mentioned. The only other option would be Hassan Ramanzari, who is yet to make his debut for Brisbane Roar. A bit of a blow that. I think Corey Brown's one of the really good left backs. Can play both as a wing back and a full back, so it's a bit of a shame to see him miss out in the coming weeks for the Roar. Central Coast Mariners effectively sealed Asian Champions League qualification with a tight 1-0 win in the F3 derby against Newcastle Jets, and it was Daniel Bowman who got the goal just shy of the half hour. The planned takeover does not appear to be going well. Oh dear. It seems that there isn't sufficient funds around to complete the deal, and the club are considering pulling the negotiations altogether. That will be a crying shame for the likes of Riley Coyne and Jackson Ferguson, who are looking to take over the club. I can't remember which one of them wanted to get rid of me, so let's just say I'd rather not have a takeover involved at all. Ruan Tongic has reached the yellow card limit. He will be suspended for the next game, having reached 5 yellow cards, and we have fined him a day's wages. MacArthur didn't play this weekend, but manager Chris Taylor has been busy securing 2 key members of staff for the future. Not only has he signed Mile Stajovski, but he has kept hold of Anthony Creer, who is the head of sports science at Campbelltown Stadium. Peter Kratke will serve as interim boss at Melbourne City following the sacking of Patrick Kisnorbo, with the Citizens down in 8th place on the A-League ladder. Craig Noone, surprisingly, has signed a new 2-year contract. So he was talked about earlier in this season as heading over to Western United, so plenty of transfer interest in the Englishman. In terms of their result this weekend, the Citizens drew 1-1 with Western United at Amy Park. Neither could really afford a loss here, with their top 6 hopes hanging in the balance. Ben Falami was the key man as Melbourne Victory secured a 3-1 success over Big Blue rivals Sydney FC in Kogarah. The young striker on loan from Ipswich scored 2 goals, with Callum McManaman notching the third. As a result, Sky Blues boss Zhang Wo-ryong was dismissed. Victory up to third on the Brunnings A-League ladder. Newcastle Jets slumped to a 1-0 defeat to ourselves, to the Central Coast Mariners. Angus Thurgate, he was second in the Young Player of the Month stakes. A versatile player, defensive midfield, central midfield and attacking left midfield. Average rating of 7.05, 1 goal and 2 assists for him. Scott Miller could be sacked in the coming days. So he was said to be on the bubble, and a bad result against the Mariners in the forthcoming A-League match would seal his fate. That was achieved. They lost 1-0. So we do wonder if he will be long for this parish. The big news surrounding Perth Glory is probably Hayden Fox's new contract. The coach there signing on for another couple of years. Nick D'Agostino's Malta international chances have been discussed. He's only started 1 game this season and made 4 substitute appearances. And it is the lack of appearances that will have done nothing to convince Devis Mangia, who is the Malta boss, that he deserves to retain his place, having amassed 3 caps with 0 goals so far for the 23-year-old. D'Agostino's contract is due to expire in 4 weeks, and it now looks unlikely that Perth Glory will offer the youngster a new deal. So interesting stuff happening at HBF Park. Sydney FC had a very bad week. Firstly losing in the Big Blue, despite, it has to be said, taking the lead. They then missed out on the next stage of the Asian Champions League with a loss to Beijing. They ended up 3rd in Group G, and that's 1 point off the top 2, which included Beijing, who progressed to the next round. As mentioned before, the sacking of Zhang Wo-ryong dominates the news headlines. Sydney in 6th place in the A-League, so sort of clinging on to the finals series positions. Harry Kewell, Oldham Athletic manager, touted by the media as favourites to get the nod. Other managers on the list in the sack race, according to the Australian Football Gazette, Grant Brebner at 4-9, despite Victory being up in 3rd. So, interesting take there from the paper. David Ball gave Wellington Phoenix the win over Perth Glory. That was back in Friday football, which seems quite a long time ago, as we've moved on to sort of Wednesday in game. Luke De Vere has signed a new deal, so he's penned a new 3-year contract. The 31-year-old centre-half who formed such a good partnership with Stephen Taylor last year. It seems that Tomer Hemed may be dropped by Israel. His international career could be on the rocks after 39 caps and 17 goals. Only scored 7 this season with 2 assists. I think possibly that average rating is what's causing international concerns. Only 6.91. Not brilliant for a striker that really should be a level above his competition. Western Sydney Wanderers picked up a much needed win over Brisbane Roar, but it only came in injury time. A winner scored by Kwame Yeboah in the 3rd minute of added time. That result does keep their top 6 hopes alive. I think they've got a 4-point gap. In other news, Costa Grotsos has rejected a loan offer from the Bonnyrigg White Eagles until I guess the end of next season, because that listed 2022. Didn't realise that we were sorting out loans for next season already. John Anastasidis has been named Western United caretaker boss. I know what you're thinking. That's not how you pronounce it. It definitely isn't. But he did oversee a 1-1 draw with Melbourne City. Connor Payne on the score sheet for the green and black. Just interesting to note that both sides are apparently battling to avoid relegation in the caretaker manager's recent press conference. The A-League famously not containing relegation. Possibly a bug in Football Manager there. Dylan Parias was named the April's Young Player of the Month. So he got 1 goal, no assists, but an average rating of 7.17 for a player who's listed as a right back, but we've seen him play more wing back, and in fact he's played further forward this season for Mark Rudan in real life. He actually has turned down some loan bids, the likes of West Adelaide, Port Melbourne and Croydon Kings, all told that he will not be joining them on a temporary contract. In terms of the A-League table, as you can see, Perth Glory are still the wooden spooners, down there now 10 points shy of Newcastle Jets. The Mariners up at the top. We've got a 9-point advantage over Wellington Phoenix, so I think one more win and we've won the title, the Premiership, which would be a fantastic achievement for a club who of course were wooden spoon holders just last season. In terms of the top 6, it looks like Wellington Phoenix are pretty safe there in second. Then you've got Melbourne Victory, as discussed, Adelaide United, Brisbane Roar and Sydney FC. I would say that the teams from Melbourne City downwards are out. There's not really much chance to make up 8 points. I'm not having it. Western Sydney Wanderers, though, sit only 4 points shy of Sydney FC, and therefore they could be in with a chance of upsetting the apple cart there. They're only 6 points behind Melbourne Victory in third, so it does look like just for those 4 places there are 5 teams battling it out. In terms of the upcoming fixtures, Friday football, Adelaide United involved. They seem to be quite a lot involved in Friday football. They host Western Sydney Wanderers, so that'll be an interesting one to see if the Wanderers can close that gap, certainly to the Reds. Macarthur host Melbourne Victory, and then Saturday it's the Jets versus Brisbane, Sydney FC versus Wellington. That should be a good game. That could possibly tell quite a lot about the Sky Blues remaining weeks of the season. And then on Sunday it's ourselves. We are away at 10th place Western United. Melbourne City host Perth Glory in the last game of the round. So thanks for joining me today, and I will see you again on Thursday.